All right, in this video, I'm going to try to, as quickly as I can, demonstrate for you what I'm talking about in the average graphs that are to be submitted for your quiz grade from this data set. Many of you have submitted graphs that are already close to ready for a quiz grade, but some of you have been submitting graphs that look more like this. Below again are made up numbers. So these graphs that I'm showing you are made up numbers. These are not the averages for the calculus group or college algebra. They're made up numbers. But you've been submitting graphs that look more like this, that are just kind of basic in nature. Now, some of these would have some points taken off, like this one right here. If you didn't have Murray High School right here, there would be a point taken off for not having the table or not having what schools indicated there. It says Murray State data down here. Now, I fixed it on these next two graphs by putting Murray High data at the bottom. All this is just from how you set up your table. But anyways, the basic graphs I'm talking about is there's only one set of data in this picture. There's only one set of data in this picture. One in this, one in that. So to get full credit, you need to start consolidating these graphs. Now, the way you consolidate the graphs is to put like two of them together. You have to take the tables you created right here and make new tables. Simply copy the thing you're trying to put together. So I'm going to say I'm going to copy, Control C, the class averages in general and compare it to the calculus group. So down here, I would start making all these new tables, which I already have done. But here's the one I'm going to paste that and then go get my college calculus group's average, which was this data right here, which I already made this picture from, and just copy the data right there and come down here and paste it right there. So now I have a new table that has two sets of data. And when I select that and insert a new picture, I'm now comparing two sets of data. You could compare three sets of data, four sets of data, but you want to still change your, I'll model for you here what I'm grading for. You need to probably change your axis to start closer to 19. It needs to have data labels. So this was fully explained in another video. I'm just going kind of quickly. Now, if this happens where you don't have the data labels showing up in the first 3 years, it's because your y-axis is automatically stopping at 30, which is too low. So change it to 31. And there's your data labels now. The bottom set of data needs labels. And now briefly, we need to change the title up here to say this is Murray High School class averages and or versus, however you want to word that, college calculus group average. I'd probably clarify that as MSU 26 and above. You're going to have places where in the paragraph of your project you can write this as well, but in your picture, it needs to give your reader all the information. Your reader shouldn't look at a picture and then say, well, who is this? Is it Callaway? Is it Marshall? Is it Murray? Is it Mayfield? What do you mean college calculus group? Well, Murray State 26s and above. The more you can provide your reader with the legend or the chart title, the better, including these data labels. So real briefly though, what's this picture telling us? Well, it's showing us that the class average is going up constantly, basically, and that the calculus group's average has been going kind of down a full 1.5 points almost by the end of these 12 years. So, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Why is that happening? Those are questions we can explore later. I would want to look at, well, if this is happening, that's kind of weird. What's going on here? I would want to look at the percent of people that are in the college calculus group, percent of people that are in the whatever group. And start comparing those things to see what's telling this story, what's behind this. Honestly, I'd probably go to our creative graph. This is a previous video I recorded right here that talks about the top 25% class average, the middle 50% class average, and the bottom 25% class average, and how you would, find those numbers and make that picture. But that would probably tell the story as to why you're seeing something like this, where a class average is going up, but the calculus group's going down. So anyways, I digress. But behind this table, you can kind of see that I've already started several of the potential graphs you could submit as your quiz grade. You could compare your calculus group to your college algebra group and find all those averages. compare the college calculus to the not ready for college group. So these would be your 18s and below. Real briefly, this is definitely explained better in another video, but how do you find the average of the calculus group? You grab the 33 down to 26, anyone that's in that group, 26s and above, and over in the bottom right-hand corner, it tells you that the average, click on average, is 28.9. What's the average of the not ready for college group? Well, that's anyone who scored anyone who scored an 18 or below. So there's all the 18s and below, and it looks like the average is 16. So you can collect all that data and organize it into those basic charts, but ultimately into these comparative charts. Last thing I'll show is while you've got a comparative chart, you can also change the chart type. What type you want. It could be a comparative bar graph, a bar graph and a line. You know, I wouldn't get too creative, but you know, there's different types of graphs you can play with to illustrate your data if you want. Like that may be better for you, this kind of picture and colors and all that. But anyways, you want to make sure you have multiple sets of data on one picture, all the legends and the titles and axes labeled and all that, and make sure they're actually averages, not percent nets. So hopefully that helps. I'm available during office hours for more questions or how-tos if that's too fast. But that's probably enough for a how-to video on this. I'll have another how-to video on the percent met for similar stuff, hopefully posted soon.